don't have to do. Hi, my name is Ellie, welcome to my channel, and I have not posted in a while. I even filmed something yesterday and had issues again. I've had a lot of issues between the footage being corrupted, it not transferring to Dropbox where I transfer it from my phone to Dropbox onto my laptop to edit. I've had it be messed up in the editor, just freaking out at me, and I've had it tried several different fixes and none of them have really worked, so we are trying one more today and hopefully you guys finally get a video and I can start come up with something to do in the meantime that does not involve me buying a camera and a desktop computer quite yet. Eventually. I know it's probably going to happen eventually, but I don't want it yet. So, let's talk about my Project Pan that you guys don't know about. I filmed an intro. It did not work out. And I'm now like a month and a half in. I turned 30 this year, and I wanted to do a Dirty 30, which was also the theme for my birthday party, which was last night, actually. I'm alive. We're fine. We didn't actually drink that much. But I wanted to finish or hit pan on 30 items before my next birthday. So, I've been going for a while. I have a bunch of stuff. I have some empties already, and let's just chat about it. So I'm keeping them in this box. I have 2 finished foundations. These are both the Infallible L'Oreal Pro Matte Foundation. I like this a lot, enough that I actually did buy another one. I want to keep my foundations down to like 1 at a time, or like one bringing in an extra right as the other one's finishing up. And somewhat successful. These have finished. I have finished a mascara. I'm about to finish 2 more because I do tend to layer them. But I'm going to experiment with that a little bit this year just because I don't want to be... It works for me, but that doesn't mean that that's the only way that I can make mascara work for me. That makes sense. I have 2 powders. I finished off the Stellar Haze powder and the Fenty Pro Filter powder in lavender, both finished. I also finished off a lip product. I'm very proud of that. I finished off the Bite Beauty matte cream lip crayon in glacé. I do want to try out their new revamped formula. I'm nervous because this was a really good formula and they haven't brought back the bulk lipsticks yet, but I want to try it, and now that I have used off the one that was like my go-to daily lip color, we've got options. I have some lip balms that I'm not sure I'm going to keep as final counts. I finished off a lip service from Lush and a Burt's Bees Vanilla Bean lip balm. I use these when I prep, so I put them on while I'm doing my makeup before my lip product to moisturize my lips, but I don't know if I'm going to end up counting these towards my total if I don't have to come the end of the project. And then I have some things that were sacrificed to, oh, I have one more. This is a mini of the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil setting powder. These 2 feed into something that we're going to hopefully finish up with this project. I made some Franken makeup. So this is the container that had the last of the Pumpkin Latte highlighter from back when Sydney Grace was Feather River Body. I bought this. It was one of my first highlighters. I mixed it with some stuff and pressed it to be a pressed highlighter. And then this is Makeup Geek's Barcelona Beach, which was also mixed with a few other things to make a good transition shade for me. I'm kind of annoyed with Makeup Geek. I'm kind of over them. I really don't see myself purchasing anything from Marlena in the future for quite a while unless she does something drastically better. I'm tired. I'm so tired of her and the drama, and I think the market has really passed her by. I don't think she's on the trend. I don't think she's creating things interesting enough for my money. Like, I'm sure they're great neutrals, because most of them are neutrals or like muted colors, but I have a shit ton of makeup and I don't need more neutrals unless the, formula is amazing. And hers is medium. It's workable, but it's not like mind-numbingly good. and I'm lately mainly interested by my number liquid because I have so much other makeup that you can't see because it's off camera. But that is what's in here so far, so that is some things. I have some other stuff that I'm working on right here. Oh, I didn't talk about some other shit. I've also done some stuff with this. This is the In the Balm of Your Hand from the balm. I finished up Bahama Mama, but I didn't pry the pan out to count it just because I have also finished up this, but I think I finished it up last year. That was the Mary Luminizer highlighter, and the last bits of Cabana Boy are in my Franken blush. I expect these two to come into play later depending on how much blush I get through, and I did gouge out some of Insane Jane to make into a Franken shadow, and I like Mischievous Marissa as well, so I expect these to get used somehow, maybe. I'm not confident these are going to get used up, and I've already pulled out the creams, so it's on its way out. It's a very old product for me. So, let's talk about Franken makeup. Yeah, we'll do that. I took these two that were mostly finished. Naked Basics still has the black in it, and I don't really know if I'm going to do anything with it. I've kind of used it in some looks and kind of not. I've also kind of sealed part of it by dropping Duraline in it to see how easily that would make it into a liner, which I don't use liner anyway. I had made I'd mixed a bunch of light base shades, so some that were too pink, some that were too yellow, some that were a touch too dark, and I added some white, and I made a pan, several pans, because I made a lot of it, of a really nice setting shade for myself. So that is another pan that I pressed in, because this was empty. So I made that one. I put one in here that I have used up, and I made several other. Oh, I think I have a compact of it too somewhere. It made a lot more product than I was expecting, so I had to start being more conservative with the rest of my Franken makeup to make sure that it would fit into the pans that I had prepared. The rest of these four are also Franken shades. Barcelona Beach went into this one with some grays and some other shades. As you can see, I've hit pan. It's a really nice cool toned crease for me. It's deep enough that I don't always have to add anything to the outer corner to like add more depth, but it does blend out very nicely. And then I made some options, some like lighter options, some grungy, all over the lid options, deeper purpley blue, which, as you can see, I didn't mix very well, but it applies nicely when I use a brush. And then I have these. So this, I took the last black that was in here, I mixed it with some green and blue and made kind of a dark turquoisey one, which honestly ends up looking kind of gray most of the time. I made two more deeper options, a dark blue and like a olivey green, and then these three light options from various bits and pieces of makeup. They work nicely. I really like these two blues together. They make a nice gradient. I've used this on the inner corner with this as kind of like a more smoky option. And this ended up a lot like the purple in there, but they're both pretty. They're slightly lighter than I probably want for like a main lid shade, but they work quite nicely. So we will keep working on those. I want these. My plan was to make good colors and press them into a pan there that I could use for like day-to-day office makeup, which I think those work quite well in that regard. I do want to keep working on this. I'm panning this corner shade as a brow color. I'm using wax in this eyeshadow. It's starting to dip. I've been using it for a long time. I do want to eventually use up all this row as setting shades, especially my little Franken one. They're quite nice, and then I think having this out and very close will, in theory, make the option of using up some of these mid-tone shades for neutrals whenever I'm panning something that doesn't have a neutral, or when I go through my crease shade there. I also want to finish up my Moonchild Glow Kit. I'm working on it. I did finish off Purple Horseshoe, but I'm not sure I'm going to count anything in here until everything's done. I've been using stars in inner corner quite a bit because it is a little harsh for my face, but these are working quite well. I've got some pan on Blue Moon. I've got some pan on Pink Heart, which I am finally ready to use up Pink Heart. I'd been kind of I hit pan, I repressed it, and then I stopped kind of using it because I really like it. It's a very easy day-to-day color, but then I wouldn't have a pink duochrome highlighter. But now I got Comet Catcher from Kaleidos Cosmetics, and it works quite well, so I think I'm confident now to use that shade. So those are eyes, highlighter. I have a couple other highlighters that I'm using. The Franken one I made by pressing into an old NARS compact. This one, it's a little dark, but it is also very pretty in my opinion. So as long as I don't layer it too heavily, it makes a nice peachy nude highlight. I'm also using up this Vanilla Quartz from Becca Mini. I have several of these minis and they're cute, but I need to start going through my products. And these are a nice formula that layer nicely and aren't too aggressive. Some of my highlighters are just a little too stark and or a little too reflective that you can kind of see the edges of where I apply it, so I wouldn't necessarily want to wear it day in day out to the office, but this one works really well. And then I will have these cute little compacts to make more Franken highlighters of ones that I think maybe need a little touch to make them more workable. I also have this mini eyeshadow from Bare Minerals. It's a loose one. It's about here. Rock Crystal. I've been setting my brow bone with that, and I have, depending on how that goes, several other eyeshadows, that's the word. It's been so long since I've managed to film something and get it up that I'm all weird again. No, not that I'm always normal. So, they're pretty shades that I think, like this one will be another setting the inner corner and brow bone. Some nice all-over shades for very easy. How can I hold this in a way that is not horrible? Cannot. They're nice, like, set it and do one all-over lid shade. I didn't really use them much once I got them. I had problems finding good ways to use them, and loose eyeshadow is complicated and hard, so that's what happens sometimes. I also have my Franken blush. So I took the remainder of Gulu from NARS and mixed in Cabana Boy and pressed it a little softer because the Gulu was hard to pick up. So now I have this shade, which is, it looks really aggressive on camera, but it makes a nice soft flush when I use it properly, and I like it. I'm hopefully going to finish this year and then have time to go through the other blushes too. I am also using this Bare Minerals bronzer in Warmth now. Again, a very nice formula. This is something that I would consider trying in a bigger size later if I ever go through all my bronzers. I have a lot of bronzers. But some of my bronzers are just too warm, which I forgot about. Like, I pulled out this palette from the Femme Rosa Carouche ColourPop collab. And I was like, oh, this is a really nice face palette. Like, this is a nice blush, a nice highlighter, and I have a bronzer. This bronzer is way too warm on me, so unless I mix it with something else, I am unlikely to be able to use it on my face. Because I am not a warm-toned lady. I am a cold, corpsey-toned lady. I also have some stuff in here. So as you can see, this took a lot of the brunt of my mixing stuff into Franken shades, because most of these are Makeup Geek and old MAC shadows, and I don't have a lot of I'm not very inspired by MAC or Makeup Geek, and I'm just kind of wanting to use up older stuff, which is my MAC and my Makeup Geek. I also have my highlighter pan, not highlighter, Franken base shades in here. This is a gorgeous highlighter from Terra Moon Cosmetics. It's Red Giant, and I like it a lot, so I keep it there so that I can do it. It looks pink on camera, but it is like red-orange duochrome in person. But I also have to use it carefully because it does have a strong, strong base tone of white. Even on me, you can see where it is when but used nicely, it makes a really gorgeous highlighter. So, keeping on that thing, I have another neutral highlighter, a nice gray tone that I will eventually hopefully use up, and then I can have this palette to put other shadows in, or to build up the confidence to depot and reorganize my makeup. I feel like I'm becoming very, very Nisa in that I am less and less respecting my makeup. I'm being very disrespectful. I'm panning stuff and dumping out the rest. I'm thinking about ripping apart palettes and putting them together in different order and mix and matching them to make them easier to use. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. I'm frankening makeup that I wouldn't have been able to gouge pieces out of things and franken it. The other thing I did was I pulled a lot from the Metal Matte palette from Kat Von D because I haven't used it a lot, and these are very pretty mattes, but a lot of them work better when they're mixed together. So I pulled, you know, olive linen and olive bone in for that Franken base shade. I pulled in a lot of the shimmers for things. I gouged out some of Moss for that dark shade I made with the leftover black. Because as you can see, there's stark light and like deeper mid-tone to very dark. And they don't fade out as nicely as some other ones, so it's not something where you can kind of like tap lightly in ribbon and get a lighter purple. It's going to be pretty dark, and that was some of the advice I was given when I was struggling with these shadows, was to, oh, we'll just tap into multiple, you know, tap into feather in that, and tap into this and that, and or I could just make it into a Franken shadow of the shade that I want it to be. So it will probably eventually do suede and feather and fringe and some other stuff and make more Franken shadows, just because I have this. This was a lovely gift from my my friend, and it's huge. It's kind of huge to approach. It's unwieldy to use, and then we had, you know, the whole Kat Von D being canceled, and so I was not using her makeup on my channel for a long time. And it kind of sat there, and I don't like that it sat there. I also pulled out my 10th anniversary thing, which is like the last thing I bought before she exposed herself as horrible. And so these are shades that I eventually want to use, and I'm just trying to pull out things that I want to get more use out of. They're sitting in a big box right here so I can see them. Lorac Pro 2 is probably going to also have some stuff done with it because it was also partially Frankened, and these nice mattes are very easy to work into stuff. These light highlighters are very easy to work into stuff. And I'm never preaching for that palette as it's on its own. So my goal is to use more of my makeup, to do more duping the tones, duping the colors that are interesting me in things as opposed to buying, which is going to be kind of funny for you guys because I am going to probably follow this up by filming a video of the stuff that I bought. Because I did buy some makeup. I bought and was gifted some makeup, you know, with Christmas and Valentine's, my birthday, and I know that the boyfriend is intending to buy me another piece of makeup sometime soon, so there's also still makeup coming out that I want, and it's nice, and there are certain things that I'm willing to bring into my collection because they are mind-numbingly beautiful or mind-numbingly great formulas, or just it's an update of a formula that I have, but I like the other formula better, and I'm fine using a new one more. So there's things I'm picking up and using it as a way to declutter some old stuff. Because I have a lot of old makeup. Oh, I have so much makeup and not enough face. Not enough face. Oh, it's such a pretty, like, I don't think you guys can fully appreciate that highlighter. The camera is not doing anything to catch all the fun glints. It's very unfortunate. I wear this and I take like 8 million photos trying to catch the proper red tone of it, or the way that it also has like the orange and the gold highlight in it, and it only catches pink. It only catches pink. It's very unfortunate. It's one of those things that people say that's very annoying, like, oh, you have to see it in person, it's different. But it is. It is very different in person. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this. Hopefully there will be content eventually if I can figure out how to get it from me making it to edited and up. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.